Tonight, the data center debate across Georgia is heating up. State advisors caution Georgia Power customers could see their bills increase by $20 each month to help power data centers. But now Georgia Power on the defense, saying that's not true. Atlanta News First senior reporter Patrick Quinn joins us live from Georgia Power. Patrick, Georgia has become one of the national leaders in data center development. Who is going to pay to power them?
Tonight, Georgia Power, they are singing a familiar tune. They're insistent that it will be the companies operating data centers that will pay to run data centers. It will not fall to the customers, Georgia Power customers. However, some customers, they find this hard to believe. They fear that when dealing with for-profit companies, the cost to run data centers, it will actually trickle down to them and their monthly power bills.
What is at stake here is generations of Georgians that will possibly be paying for this added infrastructure in the future that may never even be needed.
Cindy Hutchings moved out of her Fayette County home when a data center moved into their neighborhood. As Georgia draws more data centers, the longstanding concern of who's paying for their power amplified when this month state advisors to the Georgia Public Service Commission cautioned the state that approving Georgia Power's 10,000 megawatt proposal to boost data centers could cost Georgia Power customers an additional $20 per month at least.
It's going to be the citizens, Georgia citizens, who are paying for it. And that's not fair.
But overnight, Georgia Power on the defense said this is flatly incorrect, adding approving this energy boost will not change customers' rates and data centers would cover the incremental cost to serve them. And Georgia Power officials went a step further, saying rejecting this energy boost would, quote, stifle economic development growth in Georgia. But state advisors cautioned giving the utility company too much power. For context, 10,000 megawatts could energize roughly 9 million homes. In documents acquired by Atlanta News First, these advisors testified that the 5-member Public Service Commission should reject Georgia Power's proposal and instead grant 3,100 megawatts, with another 4,200 with conditions. Georgia Power countered, saying they need the full energy boost. They have 73 data centers online now, and already they have under contract data centers requiring 7,900 megawatts. For Marquis Solomon, who's urging the commission to reject this proposal, he wants the state to value Georgia people over Georgia Power.
If we look at history, the buck is always passed down to the public. The citizen always ends up paying.
And here in Georgia, there is a board to help regulate public utilities. It's the Public Service Commission. Maybe you voted in the recent November election. 2 seats on that commission, they were up for grabs. This board, they will vote on this proposed energy boost for Georgia Power on December 19th. I should say it's going to be the old board that votes. It's all 5 Republicans. The 2 Democrats who won in this recent election, they don't get in office until January 1st. In Atlanta, outside Georgia Power headquarters, Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.